And make sure you download the KDUS AM 1060 app. We got a lot going on here. You can take the lunch break with you via the KDUS AM 1060 app, but we got 3 baseball games over the weekend. ASU baseball got a series with the team down south. That gets underway starting tonight. So you want to listen, and maybe you're not in your car. You want to download the KDUS AM 1060 app so you can take us with you on the go. Diamondbacks fell in their attempt to pick up a series sweep yesterday against the New York Yankees, and I have been paying very close attention to Corbin Carroll's start to the year. We all are paying attention to the start of the year for Corbin Carroll. Off to a sluggish start in the first half of last year, was able to find it a little bit in the second half, but was not the player that we saw in 2023 that won the Rookie of the Year. So this is a player that we have seen be one of the best, right? Wasn't just putting up great Rookie of the Year numbers, was putting up great overall hitters in the National League numbers, MVP conversation numbers. And then that sophomore slump hit, and he was struggling, and he was fighting it, and he was trying to make changes to his swing, and he was trying to find a way out of the rut that he was in, and it took a really long time. Debating whether or not to send him down to the minors to give him a mental reset. Team kind of took that off the table. And so there was a lot of attention in the spring on the new swing for Corbin Carroll, on is his confidence there? Is this going to be a different start to the year? And if you look, because we did this exercise this morning, if you look at his numbers, you'll see a guy that's hitting 222. You'll see a guy who's only hit 1 home run so far, a guy who hasn't stolen a base. And you may be thinking to yourself, looking at those numbers, here we go again. It is a similar rough patch for Corbin Carroll, and it's going to take him a little bit to snap out of it. But if you look under the hood, and these are the things that I pay attention to that can tell me whether or not this is the same player from 2023 or a different player from 2024, and this is a different player in 2025, excuse me. He's hitting the ball harder than he hit the ball in 2024. He is barreling the ball more, meaning he is hitting the sweet spot on his bat more, actually at an elite level amongst all big league hitters. He has already hit the ball 2 miles per hour harder, faster than he did in his entire career. Those types of things, how hard you hit the ball, you barreling the ball up, hitting the sweet spot of your bat, those things aren't accidental. When those stats are there in front of us, it paints a picture of somebody who has made a meaningful change to his swing. The results just aren't matching yet. That at some point there's going to be a breakout from Corbin Carroll. It could be as early as this weekend, and you're going to start to see a guy who a couple of those balls get out of the yard or they get down for extra base hits, and he's able to rack up some stolen bases. He's able to rack up some extra base hits. Will deposit some balls in the seats and hit some home runs. There's a legitimate chance that he could be a 30-30 guy this year, 30 home runs, 30 steals. With how hard he is hitting the ball and with the speed that we know that this guy possesses, this could be a fantastic season for him. And I know he's hitting 222. But his OPS already at the start of this season higher than it was last year. His on-base percentage higher than it was last year. He is off to a solid start. The results are going to follow. You cannot look at the way he started last year and the way he has started this year. You look at both of those samples, and they are 2 completely different players. He gets up there in the box, and now the expectation is the old Corbin Carroll's back. I don't worry at all about Corbin Carroll anymore. Do I want to see the results? Yeah, because I'd like to see him be rewarded for the hard work. The 115-mile-per-hour ball he hit was a line out. I'd like to see that find a gap and he get extra bases. But when you look under the hood for Corbin Carroll, I think there's going to be a stretch here where he's going to hit 3 home runs in 3 games, and everyone's going to finally say, oh, he's back. I think he's already back.
Yeah, and I think you can see it just in his at-bats. Like, he's more confident. like you said, the on-base percentage is up. That's because I think he's taking better at bats. He's walking more. He's doing pretty much everything at a way better clip than he did at the start of last year.
He's striking out a little bit more at the start of this year. That was something that when we looked at the numbers this morning that stood out to us when breaking this down. Because how does a conversation about Corbin Carroll sneak into the show? We were talking about something else, and we sidebarred to Corbin Carroll, and we dove into the numbers, and we were like, let's just do this conversation on the air. Because it's easy to look at a guy that's hitting 222 and call into the radio and say, this guy stinks. It's the same guy he was last year. That's easy. You could do that. But I don't think this is the same guy that struggled last year, right? If we're talking about the way Corbin Carroll struggled last year, it was not hitting the ball hard. It was not swinging very fast. It was not getting good contact. It was getting beat up in the zone and striking out a bunch. It was all of those factors together. He's hitting the ball harder. He's barreling it up. He's hitting into a little bit of bad luck right now compared to the Rookie of the Year campaign that he had in 2023. I think the results are going to turn a corner here pretty quickly for Corbin Carroll. I think the process is so much better than last year. And the reason why this is so important, the reason why we focus on something like this is this team is going to go as Corbin Carroll goes offensively. Most days, he is going to be there at the top of the lineup. Most days, Torey Lovullo is going to have his name up there in Sharpie, right field, leading off Corbin Carroll. And if this offense, after losing the guys they did in the offseason, if this offense is going to not have a massive drop-off from the group that led baseball in runs per game last year, if they are going to be close to that, or at least not have a huge drop-off that impacts their results, they need Corbin Carroll to step up. They need contributions from the young players on this roster. They need Pavin Smith to have a good year. They need Jake McCarthy to contribute. They need Josh Naylor to contribute. But Corbin Carroll is one of those guys that they need to be better. You want to replace Christian Walker's production? You want to replace Jock Peterson's production? How about a 30-30 season from Corbin Carroll? How about a Corbin Carroll who's hitting close to, if not more than 300 and getting on base 40% of the time? How about that? Because guess what? Everything I just mentioned is in the toolbox of Corbin Carroll. None of that is outside of the realm of possibility if he's going to hit the ball as hard as he's hitting it. He's swinging his bat fast. That's a huge indicator of somebody who's locked in. He's swinging his bat fast. He's making excellent contact decisions. He is hitting the ball hard when he is making contact. He's barreling it up, which increases the likelihood of it leaving the yard. You saw it in the home run that he hit in what was it, the first game of the series against the Yankees. It's all there. It just has to come together in a 7-10 game sample size where he puts up stupid video game numbers. Numbers you would put up if you were playing MLB The Show against your friends. That breakout hasn't happened yet, but all of the underlying metrics for that are there. So I'm not concerned at a guy that's hitting 222. I see all of the reason to think that Corbin Carroll has fixed what ailed him last year and that we are going to see a different version of him in terms of the results. We're already seeing it in the process, but in the results when we get later and later into this season. And I will tell you, we're going to preview them in hour number 2 of the show, but a really nice matchup for this Diamondbacks offense overall this weekend when they take on Washington later on today. I like these. I got to tell you, I kind of like these 3:45 middle of the afternoon starts. These are nice.
No, they're so nice.
Because now Friday night, baseball is going to be done for me probably 6, 7, 8 o'clock. The rest of the night to yourself on a Friday. I mean, there's nothing better. There's nothing better. The only thing better is I know at some point tonight I'm going to be bored and I will be watching the latest game on the schedule. And it's going to be the Cleveland Guardians and the Los Angeles Angels, which start at 6:38 tonight. I'll be peeking in at some point.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is, you know how you have we used to have Pac-12 after dark? There is something about West Coast baseball late at night. Things just, they get weird. They get weird late at night.
And specifically the AL West.
The AL West plays some weird baseball. Weird baseball. So if you're looking for something to watch tonight, you can't agree on the TV show or the movie to watch, so you're just doing your own thing, some AL West baseball tonight for you. You get to see the Angels and the Guardians. At least one team in the AL West. Because there'll be some weird stuff that happens. I watched way too much of Mariners A's the first week of the season. Way too much.
They're always the last game on.
Always. You look up and you're like, this is like the 400th time these two teams have played.
Yeah.
Do they play anybody else? But no, they do. They play 162. But yeah, so the nice 3:45 start this afternoon for the Diamondbacks. We'll preview that game a little bit later on here in the program